Everybody, this is Dreamin. We have a 6-game slate here on FanDuel. Overall, this slate is pretty good, I think. There's a lot of injuries, though, so let's get into those. Before I get started, can you guys like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help the channel. Also, check out Discord in the link in description. So let's get into it. We have the Cavs with Mitchell and Allen both questionable. We have the Grizzlies with Morant and Bane both doubtful. With the Wizards, Beal is out. With the 76ers, Melton is questionable. Harden is out. With the Nuggets, Highland is out. For the Bulls, Kobe White is out. For the Nets, Irving is out and Curry is questionable. And for the Lakers, LeBron is doubtful and Davis is probable. I do think LeBron is probably out today. I don't know why he got a just doubtful designation today all of a sudden, but I don't think anybody expects him to play today. So let's go ahead and get into the guards that we do like today. We're going to start with Tyus Jones. Now, Tyus Jones is very dependent on if Morant is out. But if Morant is out, we know he has 40 to 50 fantasy point upside, especially in a good matchup, and this is definitely a pretty decent spot for him. So I do love him today. He's going to be an auto play if Morant is in fact out. Then Jamal Murray, he's been shooting the ball really well, and he's been pretty consistent lately. His minutes have come up, and he seems like he's getting into his role, and so I do like how he's playing, and I think he's in a great spot here to have a good matchup, even though he is in a tough game against Chicago. He should be the primary guy. Then we're going to look at Darius Garland for Cleveland. If Mitchell is out today, he's going to have a nice boost, and in the few games he's played, he's had some good upside in some of these games. Obviously, if Mitchell's out, he'll get a nice big boost. His price is pretty high here on FanDuel, but I do think he's in a good spot regardless, especially if Mitchell is out. Then we're going to then look at Tyrese Maxey here. Now his price point has come up a lot with Harden out, but he's been pretty good with him out, and especially if Melton is out again, he'll get more opportunity. Even he's been pretty solid in 3 of the last 5 games. So I expect him to have a potentially good game here. Not my favorite play on the slate, but he's a decent one. Then we'll look at Dylan Brooks, who will get a nice big upside boost if Brooks and Bane are both out. Obviously, his price is pretty fair. He's been a little bit up and down this season, but he's getting plenty of minutes, especially in this game. He'll be able to get even more minutes as a result. John Conchar, he's another guy that could potentially start in this game if those two guys are both out, and that would give him a nice little boost where he does have some good upside. The real big issue with him this season has just been minutes being inconsistent and sometimes not shooting the ball well and things like that. But overall, it's a good matchup for him if he does get to start, if those guys are out. But he's very dependent on that. Then we're going to look at Klay Thompson here for Golden State. He's been a little bit up and down. Obviously, his minutes have been kind of fluctuating, but I do expect him to play a full complement of minutes today, barring Steve Kerr saying that he's not going to. And if he does, he has a lot of upside in this particular matchup at this price point. Then we'll look at Royce O'Neal, who should still be getting plenty of opportunity with Kyrie continuing to be out. But he's a little bit more risky if Simmons does in fact play, which it looks like he will. But still, he's getting a lot of shots, and he's been doing a lot of good things. And so as long as he keeps starting and playing 35-plus minutes, he's in a pretty decent price range for that potential. Then we'll look at Zach LaVine here for Chicago. His price is actually a little bit under what I think he'll do in this game. He's been really, really good in some of these games, and he has a lot of upside. And he does tend to get a lot of peripheral stats as well, including steals, and so that definitely helps him here on FanDuel. As long as his minutes are up, then he should continue to be really good. And his price point is pretty fair, and it's a really good matchup for him. Then we're looking at Kevin Love. Now he's very dependent on Allen being out, but if Allen is out, he's in a good position to have a really solid game. He's had some really big games and limited minutes, but he would actually get some more minutes potentially today. His price point isn't that bad, even if the entire team is still playing, but he's just inconsistent, from that perspective. Then we'll look at Draymond Green here. Now Green has been kind of an enigma this season. He's been up and down minutes wise, but overall, he has a lot of upside. Just because he gets a lot of peripheral stats. Even if he shoots the ball well, then he would even get more, he'd even have more upside. Though he does have a little bit of a limitation because of his turnovers. But overall, he's a solid player, and if he gets a full complement of minutes, then he'll have a good opportunity to 5x this price point as he's dropped down from from a higher price throughout the season. Evan Mobley would get a nice boost if Allen is out. He's had some really big games this season so far when guys have been out, and so I look for him as an interesting option on this particular slate, especially against a weak opponent. Then we look at Domantas Sabonis here for Sacramento against Golden State. He's had some really good games against Golden State this season. I expect that to continue. His price point has come up a lot, but he has some upside in this matchup, and so I do think he's a good secondary expensive play. For centers, we look at the Joker. He's a little bit too cheap on FanDuel finally. His price point has come down some because he's kind of been capped, under 40, around 45 fantasy points in a bunch of games. And so, but this is a nice matchup for him where he could definitely have a huge output, and his price point makes him somewhat viable on this particular slate. Steven Adams is another guy I like okay today, especially if Bane and Morant is out, he'd get more of a run. Though you do have to remember his minutes are a little bit iffy because sometimes he doesn't play super deep into the game. But he's been getting lots of rebounds, and he has potential for double-doubles most games. His points have been the issue on that front this season, but it's partially just due to the minutes. But he's getting a ridiculous amount of rebounds for the minutes he's playing, and if those guys are out, he'll probably get more minutes as a result. Embiid is also a guy that I like okay today, but he is, I think, he should play, but then again, he's claiming yesterday that he's going to play today. But we'll have to wait and see for certain because he hasn't really played in back-to-backs yet this season. But overall, he'd be a good play. His price point is pretty high. He had a huge game yesterday with 71 fantasy points. I don't know that he's going to do that again, but he still has upside, as we know, at this price point. But again, he's been very inconsistent this season, but he's still pretty decent regardless. Then we're at Nicholas Claxton for Brooklyn. He's been really good since Kyrie's been out, been pretty consistent. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He's been really good this season. That he needs 34 points to 5x here, and he's been really just getting that every game, and since Kyrie's been out playing more minutes and stuff. And I like as long as he's getting the minutes, and he should continue to have double opportunities. Especially the way that they shoot the ball, and even the Lakers, they're going to shoot a lot of bricks today. So, with that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, and have a nice day, guys.